Well, good evening. Tonight marks kind of the anniversary of an event that is actually quite significant. I don't particularly want to go into it right now. No, it's not the details. Just that it's something that has been on my mind, of course. Because it was 1313. And the trouble has been, of course, is this deceit all along. So, when I'm accused of something that I know to be false, because I did not stalk anyone, what I did was the only option I knew to do, and I did it. Well, looking back, it seems like I could have, of course, potentially achieved whatever it was that I needed to do with the way that I had been guided, in a different manner, with different results even. Right? I mean, central to this whole story, for me, has been the question of free will. It's like the concept of even something like liberty is meaningless if there is no free will. So I've tried testing that, of course. And I don't know what to say about it. Still working on that question. It does seem that there seems to be consequences just to even just a simple statement sometimes. And that is meaning something completely different. So, finishing my thought on this particular anniversary, I felt a whole mix of confusing emotions during that first few weeks of processing. And there does, seem to be consequence as well. Yeah, something was burned out of me. Some part of me that it's hard to explain, but it's my desire to do the things that humans do was kind of gone. Like, yeah, the autopilot's still there in some ways, but the desire, like I can understand all the different aspects of humanity, from light to dark, but the desires of those aspects are missing kind of as well. There's something that was burned out, and really the only thing left is this overwhelming need to finish. Like, it's the things that I had hoped for the most is to have a partner and to have a purpose, and from the male perspective, I mean that's a big part of it. Men need to have a purpose in order for them to practice social responsibility, right? If the opportunity doesn't exist, or other circumstances, let's say the correct like if somebody is really like stomping the natural hierarchy of something, for example, and I've witnessed this, and they don't, let's say they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of what they have. Maybe it's because of fear of incompetence, or maybe it's because they failed to ensure the correct type of succession. I'm saying this on a massive fucking scale, like, and again, I got off point there, but I know it's pretty bad, but that's about the only sugar besides the blackberries. And they're a little bit still not quite. I had one that was ripe, but yeah, that's about all the sugar I drink. It's, every now and then. So yeah, there's secession that doesn't happen, and the social need of the male is never completed, and they become disgruntled. Maslow, fuck Maslow, dude. Like, he may have been correct, but he didn't really properly set that one up, because he lumps, or it is now lumped all together, and we have separate hierarchies. And we have to be aware of that. So, acknowledgement and not subterfuge, please, like, you don't get to control everything. Okay, that's an important understanding. Like, you can be alpha female, but you don't get to control all aspects. Because men have their own hierarchy, and that's a big part of what the failure is going on right now. I could write a fucking book about it, but I don't think I will. I'm debating whether or not to finish the second one, because how the fuck do I go about saying this? I mean, here I am online, which is, completely foolish idea. And how do I go about saying, it's incredible, right? Because it sounds insane. I understand that I sound insane, but here is the thing. Why the fuck is flat earthers getting attention? And my legitimate theory, backed by actual fucking evidence now, right, is nothing. Then again, maybe I prefer it that way. Maybe I prefer to be anonymous, which is a human right. Sovereign human right. To be anonymous, which, back to the stalker thing, is why I wouldn't have ever done that to you. Unless, like, there was an emergency, like I knew your life was in danger and had to, I could think of things like that, exceptions, but I would never invade your actual like territory. Not even with like probably an unsolicited like physical message, because that could also be intimidating. I understand. There's no one more security conscious in this conversation than I am. And that's really kind of like belittling to me, just to even make that type of accusation, which is baseless. And I have arguments to, of course, make that point. But as I've already demonstrated with that little trump card, I don't want to play that route, because that's not the correct route for us to demonstrate how to achieve peace. Right? Left? Peace? Peace is, I understand it's not a great fucking term. But if I say unity, then you might think that's even creepier, right? Even though I think that's more the correct way of saying what needs to happen here. Which is that there is a, in my opinion, an insane and completely inverted claim here. And yeah. It's actually, my fears that are more overwhelming than you can imagine. Like, I've had to accept the fact that this path will lead to my death and possibly to those around me. Persecution, all kinds of things. And I don't like this. And I don't like the fact that it doesn't really feel like I was offered very much else to alleviate any of that. Like, I am strapped. Totally strapped. I don't have money to purchase shoes right now. I don't have a pair of shoes that I can wear comfortably for longer than a half an hour. And not even that. And, that's a me problem. I get it. That's me saying I don't want to rejoin the system. And just really trying to fucking figure out a way and having things kind of fall apart, which they did last month, because that was really upsetting for me to have to make that stand and to make that demonstration. And I want to stop putting any energy into this, because I need to figure out my life, because it's completely derailed right now. And a large part of that is because I traveled my path towards you, which you do not even want to talk about, as if I had a choice in the matter, and I didn't. Because in such matters, we cannot continue to avoid it. The reminders will only get worse until we get back on track, and I was definitely at a bad point in my life, but I had chosen to begin to correct it when I approached you, and it was not correct for you to treat me the way that you did. I gave you no reason to treat me that way. I was willing to explain everything. You reneged on an agreed appointment. And in my book, that's not something you do. So when we talk about boundaries, you have to understand there's two people involved in making boundaries. In my book, you do not agree that you're going to meet with somebody and then not. Especially if they've traveled so far out of their way and they have a mission, and you can tell that they must have a mission, because who else does that except for crazy people? So you just automatically assumed I was insane because I'm following a spiritual path? Is that what this is? I don't believe that's true. I believe you led me to believe that could be a possibility, which is why this is so fucking inverted for you to claim that I'm the one that stalked. If that dream did not come from divine sources, it came from other sources, and that demands an explanation because of where it led to last year. You have no right to insist avoidance of this conversation. This is of the holiest and highest matter that must be had. But you claim otherwise. And since you insist that I am a stalker, I've done my part. You know where the link exists. You know if you want to change that trajectory, what you must do. There is no other further demonstration required on my part. And when it comes to the orders, here's what I gotta say. None of yours that came before have demonstrated that with such ease. From a place of just, belief. It doesn't happen very often. And you know what it means. And it doesn't matter that your orders are stale. It just means that they have to fracture. And that's always the case. So those of you that can see the fucking truth, that can see where this is all, see that this is the end, need to realize there's no longer the need. So I'm not happy because that was an impossible situation to stay unattached. I mean, that's just... And yet, at the center of it all, it's not cool, dude. Because it really feels like certain things are being kept still. Key pieces, or locked pieces. I'd really like to know. I'd like to know the totality of this entire play. It's hard to understand the entire theme, and if you don't see the expanse of it. This is just one short life I have here. And I spent so much of it searching for a reason, a way, a purpose, truth, of course, always truth, but how much closer to truth are we? Just because we understand what this existence is. Where is the truth? Of course, what's beyond this? How do we bring that here? Balance. I've been trying to understand balance better, of course, always. How do I bridge such divides, right? And I'm so good at just tearing everything down. How do I bridge divides between the world I know in Babylon and the world of people who are conscious and waiting for this and cheerful expectation? I mean, I do have joy in it. I really do have joy in what this is all for. There is joy in it because even though it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt. And for me, that's pretty much all I really feel on a grand scale. And I know it could be more. I always know that. I don't prefer that. I would prefer to have a period of time in my life where I didn't feel pain. I would prefer to have a time in my life where I felt nothing but joy. Nothing but joy. And completeness. And satisfaction, and knowing I lived a life well lived. I mean, that's what this is for, right? It's not the rewards, but knowing that you did a damn good job of it, despite what you're given, in spite. I know, I'm so ungrateful. I was given a lot. Not in terms of monetary wealth. I don't think I've been blessed very often with that. That's a personal choice. And I can't say I've been blessed with love, because I haven't. Although I've had it a few times and it was wonderful. And my greatest envy in life has been seeing others with partners, happy and content and building lives together. And 20 years ago, I thought I was looking for a partner too, and I could tell I wanted a partner with some fire in her. But you know, it's like that that part of your life is just gone. It's done. My hair's turned white, and I chased after a dream for so long. So yeah, if someone put that there, and not the divine, although everything's the divine, isn't it? I have some questions. But let's just say it's maybe my own angel. I wouldn't have even thought was possible 13 years ago. Wouldn't have considered that. I had no vocabulary then for. I don't think. Yeah. Now I just, it feels kind of like this is over. My part might not be over. I don't know. It feels like it because I'm all alone, and I have been for a long time. And that's what men are going through on a grand scale. We need social responsibility, which means we need women to give us direction. But women who also know when to stand the fuck out of the way and let us do our thing. Because we do have multiple hierarchies, and we have different ways of communicating. We have different everything. But it's, I was thinking about this too, like, so much double standards, man. Like, I saw like a female backpacking or something meetup, and I'm like, if dudes fucking did that, and it was all dudes, and we said dudes only, not only would probably only gay people show up. Just thought of that one. But like, women would be like aghast, like, how dare you exclude us? At least that's the way it would have been 10 years ago or something. Maybe 15. Time passes so quickly. But women don't even think twice about exclusion of men. Even though many men have gone through a great deal to tame their, like, inner male whatever, And we did that because women expected it of us. And to some degree men. I mean, we do keep each other in check. But, if guys go too far, we tell them. Or at least that's what, it's the correct thing to do. Keep each other in check. And protect, even from our friends. But society has been fractured for so long now. And I think this conversation, of course, is ridiculous because it's not really in their correct. It's not the correct conversation to be having, but we can't have that conversation. So there is a failure of social responsibility. Women still have a responsibility in directing men towards other men when there is a need. I'm sorry, but you have that responsibility. And you may not have ever been told that. But if you had compassion, you would know that that's the only thing you can do. So there's a lack of compassion. There's a lack of compassion overall with women. With overall in society. And I understand there's lots of reasons not to like men or trust men. You know, I'm kind of at my middle of life cycle. Don't know how long I'll actually live. We'll see if we make my birthday. But yeah, there's a lot of ums in here. What else did I want to say? Well, I don't want to go on and on. Beating dead horses. Death horses. Ugh. You gotta find some humor in all of this. You got to. I mean, everybody else is probably laughing, so. Me and my lonesome has to find the humor in it. What's it like to be me? You know, I don't really want to ever be known. It's true. I enjoy not feeling awkward. But I feel awkward all the fucking time now because I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how far, you know. I don't know if it's. I feel awkward. Because that's what happens when you out yourself. When you expose and you're past that normal comfort part. So, is it wrong for... No, it's not wrong for me to go through with it. Because I know everything I have experienced and... and this world needs another fucking direction. Look at the directions. Look at the different possibilities. Come on. None of them are good. None of them are good. This is the only direction that has its fucking chance at being something pure as heart. Even if it has cost, because anything's gonna cost. Everything. The whole freaking everything is at stake. You know, there's no not getting your hands dirty in all this. The non-choice is still a choice. So, as I said before, we could solve it one way, in which it seems that those opportunities have been killed by drones. Which I gotta ask, like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Huh? Only if you're trying to sabotage. That's the only way that would make any sense. So you can't look at me as if that was my choice. You already know what my natural reactions are. Everyone has them. I don't like too much stimulus. And that's a natural reaction for any animal. Sorry. I'm just different. I have incredible advantages and some disadvantages. And I do try to work on the areas that need strengthening. I had a little toad that popped out that day. It was a little jumping, not toad, frog, like leaf frog, shortly before that. And I was walking down there to get in the water. And my attention was occupied. So I don't enjoy these games. I don't enjoy having to play it out. I don't enjoy sometimes that... But I do enjoy it. You know, the things... The fucking insanity of it all. Of, like... not knowing why I do a certain thing a certain way until... days later, right? And it making perfect sense. And... you know, it really is like this. Sometimes. So would I bring attention to it for the world? Am I shining a light on that? And where am I shining a light? I mean, I can shine a light in the community that we both wanted to see created. You understand? I put that out there a long time ago, like with certain stipulations, you know, because I hadn't seen it. I saw different things that had potential, but just wasn't workable. And then, you know, I don't even know what is workable, because at this point, if this community decides that they are naturally going to side with your accusation without allowing me to present my case, and that's what their decision is, then it's not a community I want to be part of either, because it's most definitely lacking something. This is like the Me Too bullshit. All it takes is for a cute woman, they don't have to be cute, but it helps when they are. And yes, you are a beautiful woman. You have all the privilege throughout all your life. The only way that I have privilege is by being masculine, right? Unless I want to be subservient, and then I could have some privilege. And then that's kind of the hierarchy of people who aren't, you know, privileged with beauty. in the normal sense, Now, standards can't change. I mean, why not? Right? But you were a good match to the standards. And yeah. So they're naturally going, the majority are naturally going to believe your accusation without knowing anything more at all. That's not right. That's not correct. It's not in any way, shape, or form a hallmark of any type of society that is balanced and cohesive. When one person can make an accusation, one person, I mean, I don't know, maybe you feel that you're influential. I don't know if you feel that you are in this community or not, because there are a lot of other people who have influence too. But, like, obviously you feel that you have more influence on some level, or at least this is the way it appears, than myself, because you would have handled it different if you felt we were equals. And second, if I had more social influence, you would have also handled it completely differently, because you wouldn't have even looked at it that way. Because I know what type of person you are already. You like to gravitate towards higher, bigger fish in these social circles. That's what you do. I don't think that there's any doubt to that. Although integrity and all this other stuff makes a big deal for you. But, so you're naturally going to be the one who is looked at as a victim, which isn't true. And I don't like that status identifier or whatever either, right? But that's the position you're taking. Is not a position of empowerment. Using outside influence to force to intimidate, to attempt to intimidate, possibly enact violence upon, all to avoid the social responsibility of explaining your position, which now that you have accused me, you absolutely owe an explanation. And like I've said before, I mean, in the correct forum, I am open to sitting down with elders who know how to mediate something like this. Because at this point, it is so far past what you think you have a right to say no to. No. You know what I have implied by my writings? And you know that the backing that I've received through various events signifies that it might be true. You can't deny that now. So you also know what that makes me, if that stuff is true.